It's so fun, isn't it? For someone to open something that you are just so excited
Oh, man.
to put in their lap,
Yep.
and hope that it resonates with their heart in the receiving like it did yours in the giving. And I take that all the way back to, I think that's our Father in heaven. I think that's our God.
Yeah. That's a glimpse of him for sure.
With God, there is always more. More love, more life, more freedom. Welcome to Zoweh's Exploring More with Michael Thompson. C.S. Lewis once wrote, "Our Heavenly Father has provided many delightful inns for us along our journey, but He takes great care to see that we do not mistake any of them for home." Join me and the team as we explore the kingdom together, discovering the deep truths and offering encouragement for the journey. There is always more. Welcome, friends and allies, to the Exploring More podcast. Michael Thompson hanging out with S.J. Jennings. And this is our Christmas show, Christmas
I
edition.
think this episode's dropping right before Christmas.
Yeah. Therefore,
the decorations
the
on
tree.
the Christmas tree.
If we could have found some Santa hats, I'd have had them here for us, but
absolutely.
You're lucky.
Well, I thought about running over to Sam's Club. They have one of those Christmas time suits.
Oh no!
For sale.
I don't know. Caleb would have approved that.
Yeah,
he's wearing a Grinch shirt right now.
He is. That's true. Yeah.
Anyway, good to be with you, bro. And,
man.
And with Christmas, you had the brilliant idea of let's talk about gifts. Let's talk about what's the greatest gift that we could give our children. I think that's the title, right? What's the greatest gift we could give our kids? But then we started talking back and forth about some preliminary things that we want to talk about.
Yeah, and what was our childhood like? That's
if you're a last minute shopper,
expedited shipping,
which I have been, then what is it? If you wait till the last minute, it only takes a minute.
That's right. That's a great theory.
In theory.
Yeah. It's you're definitely a few times I've paid more for shipping than for the item because I waited too long.
Yeah, and you're good at the Amazon shipping stuff. You find things online. You're a great online shopper.
Yeah.
I like going to the store. I like touching it and handling it, and
I do both.
Walking out the door with it.
I do a lot of online stuff, but I also World Market is like my Christmas time store.
That's exactly why my family gets some. Whatever I get last minute, it's pretty much junky to them. But I thought it was cool as heck.
That's right.
Ross, TJ Maxx. I'm in there with 1,000 other people. Big line. Oh man. Yeah. That's Christmas.
Yeah, it's Christmas. But let's start off with the story of a Christmas gift that you received. Maybe like Ralphie says in A Christmas Story, the greatest gift I ever received or would receive.
By the way,
because we thought it would be good to go from that and then transition into parenthood.
Yeah,
where you're giving gifts to your children, and then we could talk about the greatest gift that you can give them.
Just by the way, there are a few pretty good podcasts on Christmas.
Yeah,
Christmas Past.
Yeah,
Ebenezer. We've got some Christmas Past where Robin and Sherry are on with us talking about some of the other meanings of Christmas and some of the different Christmas traditions. I love that podcast.
That was a good one. Yeah. Flip back through the files. See what you can find. Lots there.
Right.
What episode are we at? 300 something? I don't know. It feels like we're probably there.
When I think about childhood, I mean, bless my mom and dad, they did Christmas up.
Oh, it was a big deal.
It was a big deal.
Yeah.
And they were high school sweethearts. So even though we moved west as a boy, California and Utah, my dad drove the family truckster back to Edmond, Oklahoma, where there was a lot of family. So I knew Christmas that way, and there were presents that were going to that grandma's. There were presents waiting for us at that grandma's.
Multiple Christmases.
Oh man, it was as much as we brought some Christmas presents, we were taking home.
Yeah.
And I was like, put my brother Scott on the roof. Make sure all my presents get in here. There's only so much cubic feet in the
right.
But oh man, so there was a lot of the gift of family was definitely part of that, and yeah, I mean, lots of fun. But I remember a couple Christmases in that probably 10, 11, 12. We grew up. I think you're right behind me, but
Yeah, I'm 53 now.
so I'm 59. So we grew up with the Sears catalog.
Oh yeah, the Christmas catalog.
You start dog-earing that thing and looking in there. The J.C. Penney.
Mm-hmm.
So Sears was the official, at the time, like the official sponsor of the NFL. I remember 2 NFL franchises from sponsorship, Sears and IHOP. Do you remember those helmets? That you could get at International House of Pancakes?
Oh, the little mini helmets.
The helmets.
Yeah.
You would go.
I do remember them.
We wanted to go for those cheapy.
Right.
I mean,
the ones I remember are about like that big.
Yeah, they're a little better than Cracker Jack, toys. But
But you wanted to collect them all.
Oh, yeah, man. So.
Oh, man.
But Sears had the NFL stuff. And so growing up in Oklahoma, Dallas was kind of the adopted pro franchise.
Yeah,
and
makes sense.
But, I was that guy that if my brothers liked the Cowboys, then I'm a Redskins fan.
Mm-hmm.
But we had a tradition that, Santa, even though we knew, by the time we even knew, and because I was the oldest, I kind of knew Santa was the spirit of Christmas, not actually Christmas. And yet, had younger siblings, and so so Santa would bring things and prop them out. So I remember a Letterman's jacket, kind of one of those, looks like a Letterman's jacket, but it was the Redskins logo and the Dallas. Wow. Oh man, so there's pictures of me, pajamas and the letter jacket,
wearing
the Letterman jacket.
Absolutely, I bet you wore that thing out.
Oh, it was a blast. It was so fun. So that was a big gift. We always got socks and underwear, man. I don't know why.
That was 100%.
That was in
another
the
thing to open.
It went in the stocking stuffers, so that was a tradition. And then but I'm here. All that to say, electric football.
Oh yeah, with the tabletop thing. Bzzz,
craziest,
and they just would.
Craziest game, you little cotton football that you're putting on one guy and you turn it on and it's just a mob. So
Yes.
And there was little things on the bottom of them that you could kind of tweak, but
try to get them to go a certain direction.
Yeah. I mean, in the midst of all the things that I just remember we had a ball with that crazy game.
I'll bet.
My Uncle Phil. We did, everybody played. You just lined up. Slot cars was another thing that happened with the big tracks.
Aurora.
Yeah, the big
slot
tracks.
Cars.
Big cars the size of our phones.
Yeah.
So that was fun. But those were some of mine. How about you? Those.
Yeah. Well, you were talking about stockings. We always had an orange in the toe of our stocking every year. Not sure I ever ate it. But that was always a tradition of having.
Is that just to keep the
in there? I don't know
the weight of the stocking.
I don't know where the tradition came from, but my parents always put an orange in there for each one of us. And
fruit.
I know,
parents. Fruit's not a gift.
Fruit cake. Hard candy. Yeah. No, come on. Yeah, nuts in the shell.
Those hard candies that were
the ribbon candy
and ribbon. Oh man,
ribbon candy. Yeah, those will pull out a filling.
Do you remember those? Did you ever have that? Kinda? Yeah, that was a bowl.
If my grandmother was still alive, you could go to my grandmother's house and she'd still have that same candy from when I was a kid.
And it's for a week. It would sit there getting then
it was chewy. It was just a block.
That's funny, man.
But traditions, yeah. No, but the year I think I was probably 13, or maybe I turned 13 because I'm a December birthday guy. So just had a birthday a couple weeks ago, but.
Happy birthday.
Well, thanks. That's always the challenge, by the way. As an aside, the December birthday is like, this is your birthday and your Christmas present. I'm like, oh,
Remember what I told you the other day? That December's my half birthday.
That's right.
You're like, really?
Yeah.
It's July. We got to.
Yeah, that's true.
But so getting presents every 6 months is a good deal.
Yeah.
But 2 weeks later.
A couple of months before Christmas, I feel like it was. I would ride my bike which was a pretty nice 10-speed bike, up to this bowling alley, and there was an arcade there, so this is in the 80s. So, of course, if you get 3 quarters, you're going to ride your bike and go play some video games because it's like the new thing. So one time I was up there and I left the bike outside, and I left it unlocked, and it got stolen.
Oh, no.
So first I got to make the call,
Come pick me up.
Yeah, my bike got stolen. So I don't remember my parents being, my dad probably chewed me out a little bit on that one. But then that Christmas, and it was this whole thing of, we can't afford to buy you another one, and maybe you can save up some money and get a bike at some point. And I was just like, because it's the first, when you're a teenager before you get a car,
your bike's your deal.
You're gone on the bike all the time. Yeah. I was gone all the time. So then I come out Christmas morning, and I'm just hopeful and thinking, oh man, surely there's going to be a bike out here. I walk out, and it's not something you can hide behind the tree. Nothing there. So I'm like, all right, well, I didn't say anything. Opened some other gifts, socks and underwear and whatever, And they kind of did the Christmas Story Ralphie thing, where it's kind of winding down and, did you get everything you wanted? And then the dad says, hey, what's that over there? Well, they didn't say, hey, what's that over there with the bike? But my sister left and wheeled it in, and I remember bawling, crying.
Jumping up and down gift.
And crying at the same time, And I just, boom, right out the front door. I'm gone, And
that's a good
that
one.
Was pretty great. That was a pretty great one.
That is a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So what about, when you transition into parenthood, you have kids.
Yeah.
And you get to know your kids. When they're younger, you're buying them, scooters and the kind of the typical doll houses or whatever. Yeah. Toys for kids, which are great. And then as they start to get a little bit older, like I was 13, you get these specific gifts for your kids that really are like a home run. Yeah. Can you think of one with the girls where as they started to get into their own personalities and you got to know them, what was a...
Yeah.
You don't have to do each one of them, but if you can think of one.
Well, one funny story and then one that more to your question. But I remember like Robin and my first Christmas. Did I tell you this story ever? But I want to Robin my first Christmas. And
is this going to be encouraging?
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's gonna be enlightening.
Okay.
So I used to have a tendency to get her things that I liked and wanted her to have.
Right.
And so back then in the 80s, there was kind of the MC Hammer,
the pants.
The pants.
Yes.
They were like pajama pants,
Yeah.
And of course I got the MC Hammer CD. I think I lost all privileges to get her any gifts for the next.
Wait, you got that for her?
Yeah, for her. I thought that was cool. I thought that'd be fun, and
you got the pants for her,
and I would yes,
okay,
and I would enjoy all of that. He was a big deal. Anyway,
yeah, he was.
So that was probably one of those last minute running to the store. Hey, that's a good idea.
Right?
No,
yeah, Spencer Gifts has something.
Spencer Gifts. Yeah, wasn't. So I lost a lot of gift giving privileges back then. At that point, but the girls, there were just some really, I think of one that was really special for Abbey. Kind of missed Ashley's heart in there. She's the oldest and Hannah than Abbey, but we were given some horses. And we had some great friends who had the facilities and all that. So, but these guys up in Virginia deemed them to us. And so we brought these horses in, and Abbey had been taking riding lessons.
Yeah. And she loves animals, just period, across the board, right?
And horses were a big deal. So, I mean, she's maybe 8, 9.
Yeah.
She goes under horses, and I rode with her some too. But these horses came to us, kind of donated to the nonprofit, and we had a facility that had some friends that had a camp that had probably 8 to 10 horses already, so that kind of added to the herd. Mm-hmm. And so we had a great deal that hey, you can use our new horses, which we don't know what they can and can't do, and we can board them there. So that was kind of the deal and stuff. But the giving of them, you know, when they right around Christmas time, Abbey and a friend just getting these horses, that was like your bike times whatever.
Right.
The other one I think of is when Ash was younger. This has got to be 98 or 9. Caleb, you may have to look it up. When Harry Potter came out. So it was the funniest story, man. They're going to Christian school. Harry Potter's coming out. And I'm like, yeah, we don't do witches and wizards.
Right.
You know,
right.
that.
Witchcraft.
Of course, I love C.S. Lewis and Lord of the Rings and all this other stuff. So, I hold out and am good on these books for a couple, like through at least to the second book, and she's just strategically like, Dad, you know, because everybody's reading these books. So, long story short, Harry Potter I caved because they were really good. And I think there's the gospel in. I personally could come up with the gospel in Harry Potter throughout those characters and stories and stuff. So anyway, so that's just become kind of a thing now. I'll get the girls, they'd get a mug. We do a coffee mug kind of exchange.
That's cool.
That's why we have you seen our cabinet? There's
10,000 mugs. Yeah.
But when they're gift giving, you know, so Harry Potter mugs, Harry Potter socks, you know, just there's always kind of a little token Harry Potter thing that's been fun. So
become a tradition now.
Yeah, I got something cool for this year. This airs before Christmas.
Right, so you can't.
My son-in-law listens, and Ashley often listens, so I can't reveal because it's a Harry Potter thing that.
Well, next episodes I'd love to hear what that was.
I'll take a picture.
Yeah,
yeah. So those have been gifts that have been fun to give. And then those are some big ones that come to mind.
The tradition. I love how traditions get. You know, started.
Established, right?
Maybe you're not thinking that it's going to be a tradition at the beginning, and then it just becomes one.
Right.
So we have a tradition. Stephen loved Legos when he was a kid. Like we have those storage crates like this filled with. I don't know how much. Yes, we're storing Stephen's stuff until he buys a house. So we still have them, and I don't know what we spent on Legos. But I'd wager we probably could have bought him a car with what we spent on Legos over the years. So he loves Legos, though. What he'll do is when he was a kid he would create whatever it was supposed to be, you know, Quidditch, you know, arena from Harry Potter. Yeah. And then you build that. Okay, that's great. Now that's done. Then at some point he gets kind of tired of playing around with that and he'll just dismantle it and start making other stuff.
Yeah. You buy those things. They kind of come as that's what you can make with them,
right?
But then the Legos become part of the master collection.
I'm gonna make my own stuff with them. So every year now we put one of those little sets into his stocking. So it just became a tradition. Still, he's 28 years old. I still put a little Lego thing in his stocking. But one of the big ones I think for him, he turned 16 and 17 and wasn't interested in getting his license right away. Like I got my license the day I could get my license.
Me too.
He wasn't all that interested in it early on, but then when he was ready, he was ready. Yeah. So, one Christmas, Sherry and I we had a car, and he didn't know, but we went and got a different car, and he got the keys to the old car as a gift, and that was a big deal for him.
Yeah, that is a big deal.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, the freedom that comes with that, and
yeah, and
then he wrecked it. So, as is often the story, right? Yeah. But that's okay. It was a great moment.
Well, and when I think, SJ, of the gifts that we can give our kids, my mind, my heart does go to love.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if I'm answering the question, what's the greatest gift you can give your child?
Yeah,
at Christmas,
all those things we just talked about
any day
are
and
great,
all day,
and they're fun.
And
but there are greater things,
and they are expressions of love and affection.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's, to just move to, what. So the traditions can become very loving because
Mm-hmm.
they become some level of security
Mm-hmm.
for, we're going to do that, right? We're going to getting the tree,
Mm-hmm.
putting the ornaments on.
Right. Yeah, we have our annual tree trimming party.
The letter,
the Christmas letter
the
every
Christmas
year.
letter every year that you guys do. That's great. Making something. Some of the most. I remember Abbey, giving me an envelope of coupons. I think it was Christmas.
For like
Might have been
macaroni
a
and
birthday.
cheese or something?
For for story time.
Oh, okay. Like time with you.
I
got you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Walk the dogs in the things that were just
right.
And she was little, so
That's
to her
fun.
They were coupons of time.
Yeah.
And being with and stuff. I'm sure it was, you can rub my back and you can brush my hair.
Yeah.
Coupons
do
like
my
that
chores
too.
for me.
Right.
Yeah.
So but Ashley, I think all of them did that. Ashley and Hannah and Abby. But this idea though of for us, at Zoweh, we really have discovered to love well is a result of being loved well.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever we got or didn't get from our mom and dad, and we believe this, they did the best they could, and you have to kind of earn the right to say that by knowing what your parents' story was.
Yeah.
It means more when you know what your parents' story was, what your grandparents, how were they grown? How did they grow up? And what kind of way were they loved? So the more work we do with Father, Son, and Holy Spirit in receiving love, getting things out of the way that can block that love, trust, the lies that can be there in the way of that flow, lies about you, about God. So we've talked, there's so many podcasts about those things, but I think, that's one of my thoughts about what's the greatest gift you can give your kids.
Sure.
I have a few others, but where do you go?
Well, I gotta mention the gospel. Of course,
that's a loving thing to do.
It absolutely is. And as long as you're in a position, if you've got kids and you maybe haven't shared the gospel with them, or
Christmas
is a
soft toss too.
It is.
There's
Absolutely. There's a lot of tenderization going on.
A lot of opportunity.
But you got to be ready for them to not want to receive that gift. And that's a real challenge. It's hard to, because you know what a difference it's made in your own life. So it can be a challenge. But I think, so I have to just give that its due, obviously. But I think the other thing, and we talk about it at our weekends, that when we talk about relationships with, your wife or your children or wherever you're at, the best thing that you can do for those relationships is to get your own heart back.
Yeah.
And so if you're a first-time listener or watcher of the podcast, what do we mean by getting your heart back? Well, reclaiming what the enemy has stolen over the years is a really simplified way to say it. But going on an exploration, getting understanding of how you've been wounded, how those wounds, we talked about this in just a few episodes ago, the algebra.
Yeah, how it works.
Yeah. The wounds, the agreements, the vows,
Yeah.
and undoing with the help of God, the damage that the enemy's done or that's been done to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We hear this a lot and we're a little older. We started this journey, I think in your early 30s, my late 30s.
I'm in my late 30s. I was
You too?
30. Yeah, it was 2009 was my first.
Oh yeah, so we'd been going.
One, so I was 39.
I'd been working in that space for a while, so 7 or 8 years ahead. But yeah, so it kind of happened at the same timeline. But I think about some of our initiatives with the younger men. When you think about the stages of development, we would call them the warrior the warrior before the king, before the elder sages, that warrior time, 20s, late teens, 30s, that, man, to have had some of this work done, there's on average, there's less work to do if you do it sooner.
Right. Less collateral damage too.
Not always.
But
the collateral damage is a great point, because the longer you stay wounded and disoriented and have more conditional love, operating in your system versus this more than a theory and more than an idea of unconditional love, the longer that is in there, the more damage, can be done. So, to give that renovation work over to the Spirit and partner with Him in it. We were talking about fixing some things at my house. Yeah. And I told you, I said, I'm kind of an assistant. I know what's in the toolbox. Yeah. I'll be the nurse. I'll be the assistant. Yeah. I can hand you this, but I don't have the confidence to go in there. I could Google it, I'm sure, and YouTube a few things. But I think in the role of fathers and fatherhood, you really can't, that's not you need to know how to do it. You need to know how to love them.
It's part of the mantle of responsibility you're taking on as a parent.
And the training, we're saying the training for giving him that gift. And I just had that image of Chevy Chase in Vacation, the gift that keeps on giving, that line, it's so appropriate here, right? Uncle Eddie, with the jelly of the month thing. But crap, the reality is that is the gift that can keep on giving, not just Christmas, but on and on, because of the work and the walk with God, when you literally encounter the love of God, it's a pretty universal across the board. If you really encounter that, it will affect you and impact you in a way that then you will transmit the love of God.
Yeah.
So all of the Corinthians list, love, joy, peace, patience, goodness, kindness, all of that, which is so loving. Think about our podcast on kindness.
Yeah.
That we spent several weeks this year. I mean, I believe the love of God has made me more kind because I've experienced the kindness of God.
Yep, 100%.
The patience of God, the care of a father.
It changes your countenance. It changes your character. I mean, and we're not talking about just receiving the gift of the gospel.
Yeah.
That's becoming the citizen of the kingdom.
Yeah.
Right? And you got to get your citizenship right. We've talked about that. This is the product of the exploration.
That leads to the transformation.
Just like Abbey, the gift she gave you was really a gift for you both of your time, time together.
Yeah.
That's what God wants. He wants time together with us so that some of these things can be unraveled, unlearned, undone, healed.
Yeah,
and hope replaced that replaces despair. I mean, it changes everything, and it continues to do so.
Yeah, the gift that keeps on giving.
The gift that keeps on giving. That's right. Way better than jelly of the month.
That's right. So I that's where my head and heart go.
Yeah,
with the best gifts, they keep on giving. And the opportunity that, as you were talking about that, I thought, even there was enough horses to go around, so I got to ride. I rode with Abbey. Abbey and I would go riding. So to do it with, I think is a nice addition to the answer. As I think about it, even my dad, my Uncle Phil, laying on their elbows playing electric football.
Oh man.
It's not that fun just to play by yourself.
It's not.
You can line them up, but when you get
same thing with slot cars, right?
Yeah, when you get people that you care about and care about you, it changes that landscape, and I think that's That's a great reminder, I think, for me.
Yeah.
As Christmas comes, what do I want Christmas to say? What do I want Christmas to be for my grown-up kids coming home, and what is being with and doing with? What does all that look like?
Yeah. God wants time with us. And the older I get, I just turned 53, and some might say, well, that is not old at all. Well, none of us knows how much time we have. Like I said it yesterday in a meeting we had, life's a vapor.
Yeah, you did.
And so we don't know. So I don't just want to give gifts now that are something Stephen can take or Sherry or anybody else can take and go and engage with. I want to give something that, okay, we can do this together.
Yeah.
We can spend some time together.
Yeah.
And be with each other, because time really is the greatest commodity that we have.
Why I love the coffee mug stuff, because when I have coffee, I get to pick from some mugs that have sentimental value. So gifts like that, big deal. I think back to, Jesus's birth, and, here come the wise men, here come the Magi from the east. I think Matthew 2, and, gold for his divinity, right? And frankincense, I think, is this priestly aroma, for the high priest, and then myrrh is this for the Savior.
Yeah.
For the Savior of the world. These appropriate gifts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Learn your lessons with MC Hammer and, but they gave such appropriate gifts. So they knew, I just want to add this, they knew who they were giving to. They knew. They gave appropriate gifts. And I think that's a great part of gift giving. When we really get down to let's get into like a package, like a gift. What is it that would express, I know you. I know that this reflects your heart. So I'm giving it because I know you. I think that's a great, whatever gift that is, that's a great gift to give. Something that expresses, I know you.
Yeah. What just landed on me is that for your birthday this last year, I gave you a mug. And I didn't know the meaning, the significance behind that, other than, man, that was a cool mug. It was a Yeti with your
my
initials on it and all that. But now I understand.
And Aslan, you had it
Aslan
somehow
for me.
Engraved a little bit. Aslan for me. I love it. Yep.
Yeah, but
so anytime
now I understand a little more.
Whatever I put in there,
that tradition in your family,
I get to the giver can be remembered. You know? So I think that's a big opportunity. Not always, instead of giving people what you want them to have,
right?
What would they want? So that's a great way to kind of tailor your gift giving for your children and expressions of that. I think my kids still, and we put this in King Me in that chapter. They mostly what they want are your words and your time.
Yeah, that's true.
And so whatever you can do. Cards, poems, limericks. You've written a few.
I have,
whatever you can do to craft
invitations. Let's go do this together.
A destination, a place that we can be together and explore. All of that, I think, falls in a category. And I think we could put any two dudes here. I hope, and if they could talk about it and focus on it a few minutes, I think they'd come up with similar things. We do know a thing or two, over the years, what would be good gifts to give. Right. So these are hopefully reminders to our friends and allies that get out there, ask some questions. Consider, you might have to get a little help from your bride. What do they think? But those are the kind of things I think that will, it's so fun, isn't it? For someone to open something that you are just so excited.
Oh, man.
To put in their lap. And hope that it resonates with their heart in the receiving like it did
Mm-hmm.
yours in the giving. And I take that all the way back to, I think that's our Father in heaven. I think that's our God.
Yeah. That's a glimpse of him for sure.
Yeah.
There's no doubt. Well, man.
Merry Christmas.
December again. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, bro.
And Merry Christmas to all our watchers, our listeners. Comment in the comment section what was one of the greatest gifts you ever received. That'd be fun to read.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe we'll share some of those in the next episode.
In the next episode, what did you get?
Yeah, yeah.
That's the question after Christmas and birthdays.
I remember meeting outside in the street. Christmas afternoon.
Most of us are wearing some of it, part of it. Right.
I got new sneakers. I got a Redskins jacket.
Yeah,
man. I got one of those Evel Knievel motorcycles where you pull the thing.
Oh, yeah.
Remember those?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're digressing again.
My phone will show me one of those now. Somehow in the world of eavesdropping,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna get an invitation to
Evel
Knievel vintage. Anyway, so Merry Christmas, friends and allies. Thank you for being with us this year. We'll be back. More to talk about, more to explore in the kingdom, blessings. We hope you have enjoyed this episode of Exploring More. The landing page for this podcast is zoweh.org/podcast. That's ZOWEH.org/podcast, where you can find the show notes and various platforms to which we broadcast. You can also find us and the Life of More by visiting Zoweh on YouVersion Bible app, Right Now Media, our Facebook page, and Zoweh on Instagram and Twitter. Remember, with God there is always more, and you were made for more.